Alpana Killawala, ma'am, has joined us today. She is being the principal advisor at RBI, heading the communications department. She was with RBI for 26 years and has worked with 6 RBI governors, to name a few: Dr. Raghuram Rajan, Dr. Vimal Jalan. So, she has a vast experience at RBI.
Oh, it's been a fantastic journey. I was a journalist, as you rightly pointed out, and I enjoyed those 3 years of journalism absolutely thoroughly, professionally, very fulfilling 3 years. And I didn't want to leave that job, but it was my publisher who encouraged me that a job offer like an institution like RBI doesn't come very frequently, so just join and take the experience. And his advice proved to be so right. The experience that I got, the learnings that I had in RBI were tremendous and very, very helpful in my professional growth. So I have thoroughly enjoyed my more than 25 years of tenure there. Worked with some of the greatest minds, as you rightly pointed out again. That's some 6 governors, and each one had a strong point of his own, and just superb working with them.
Did they face a question like, why do you want to be an RBI? The majority of the time, at least I have seen the students being guided, or somewhere, they end up saying this, that we want to be in policy making, or we want to contribute to the nation. And yes, they may be right, but they're not able to carry forward the answer. So, and we feel that it should come from the heart to make it believable. It should not be like, just because you have to say it for the sake of saying it, you are saying it. So, if asked why RBI, what, according to you, can be the possible reasons? Of course, they will be personal. There's no standard answer. But how can this be best handled, according to you?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll explain the institution called RBI, and then let the students formulate their own answers.
Yes,
and see how it gels. They can check with each other, they can check with you, they can check with me if they want. Subsequently, I'll leave my email address with you. See, basically, RBI is clearly 2 parts. One is a policy-making part, and the other is operationalizing those policies, that part. So let's say, for example, you have a monetary policy department, and that formulates monetary policy. You must be reading in the newspapers every 2 months or 3 months, they meet, the monetary policy committee meets, and then they announce the rate change or whatever. And then you have to operationalize that policy. So there is another department called the Internal Debt Management Department, or even the Monetary Policy Department itself. They conduct what is called the daily liquidity adjustment facility operations. Now, why do they conduct this? Because if, let's say, the Monetary Policy Committee has decided that, let's say there is a rate hike, which means that there is too much of liquidity in the system. Liquidity is money. I presume that students understand these technical terms well, so I won't explain them. So liquidity operations means rate hike, and liquidity operation meaning there is too much liquidity in the system, and therefore the inflation increases, and to rein in the inflation, they have to increase the interest rate, which means that liquidity will have to be absorbed by the RBI from the system, withdrawn from the system. So that whole operation of withdrawal of liquidity is conducted through auction of government securities. So we give government securities in the market, and whoever has excess liquidity will buy, and that liquidity will come back to us. You can see that the decision that you're making is impacting the public immediately, and you can see that in front of your eyes.
How is the work culture of RBI, and how is RBI taking care of the needs of its employees?
Work culture of RBI, the impression that you will get from outside, or the impression that you would carry unless you step into the RBI, is that it would be something like a government organization. So, piles of paper and people sitting idle and chit-chatting and lunching and shopping during office hours and all this you will imagine. But that won't be for you when you enter into the RBI, because RBI is very, in an organization, all sorts of people are there. So you will find people like that also. I'm not saying no, but it is up to you to see whether you want to be like one of them, or do you want to stand out and be someone like, who can rise up to the level of the governor or deputy governor or executive director or even head of the department for that matter. And that can happen only if you're self-motivated. You are always thinking about the job and the policy or the work task at hand and trying to give it your best.
What kind of personality characteristics is a good match for RBI recruitment board?
You should be very humble. You should be humble. You should be very committed and committed to development goals. Because if you have aspirations of, making some quick buck, there is a question on insider trading I saw. So if you intend to invest some money and make a quick buck and get out and retire at 45, RBI is not the place for you. I'm not saying you will do insider trading or something, but if you are after quick bucks, you should not join RBI. It's not the place for you. Because RBI is a place where slow and steady will win the race. There will be ups and downs in your life, life as in the professional life. And you will have to bear with it. You will have to live with it. But it will not remain always, because it's, as I said earlier, a hierarchical organization, and every dog has its day in a hierarchical organization. So someday you are the boss and tomorrow somebody else will be the boss.
In the interview panel, ask them, say, 10, 15, whatever, X number of questions, and she's not able to answer Y number of questions out of those, 50% or 40% of the questions, then how would it impact her interview score?
If it is 40-50%, then it's quite bad a performance. That means you've not prepared well. You should not expect to be selected. Because for RBI, some lakhs of applications come for a few hundreds of grade B vacancies. And then out of that, they select some thousands of applicants, and they are called for interview, those who clear the test. So competition is very severe. And if it is 40-50% of questions that you've not been able to answer, don't expect to be selected. But I don't, when you are kind of practicing with exam B and all that, I don't see why you should score 40-50%. You should be able to score 80-90-100%, because you're preparing well for your exam, and you've cleared your exam. Now it's interview. To prepare for the interview. And I don't know if, do you do mock interviews,
Yeah, we do.
So it's a lot of practice is given, no? So it's only a question of practice. And like I said, decide on what you are strong or you want to talk about or you can talk about, and bring those words in your conversation. Let the interview not be a question-answer session. It should be a conversation session. So, because interview panel also, they come with some 50 questions prepared. When they're interviewing some 10,000 people, then their 50 questions are just not enough. So they are also looking for some hints from your answers, basis which they can ask you for the question. So drop those words very skillfully in your conversation, in your answers, and guide the panel towards that subject, and then you're comfortable. The basic decorum of an office, the basic, you can't wear a kurta pajama if a man, and a girl cannot wear a short skirt and go for an office interview. No. RBI is a very traditional body. It took me a long time. I was very young, as I said, and I had joined for journalism. Journalism में तो jeans पहन के भी जाते थे office में, and nobody bothered. But I used to go and interview bank chairman, and I had to be, and interview can turn in any day. So I was in a jeans one day, and State Bank chairman called me for an interview, and I went in jeans, and I was like, kya karu. But I had no choice but to go. After that day, I never wore jeans to my office. In RBI, salwar kameez or sari. And later life, meaning initial 1 or 2, 3 years, I wore salwar kameez. After that, never. I always wore a sari. Because you never know when the governor will call you. You never know when you have to go and attend some formal function with the governor. Being in communication department, of course. But even in other departments, you will never know when your senior is going to call you for discussion or whatever. And if you're shabbily dressed or, torn jeans or some such thing, it doesn't create a good impression. It's always wear. A senior colleague of mine used to say this, that 70 to 80% of the awakened life is spent in office. So you should be in your best dress every day when you go to office. Same with the interview. Dress up well. Don't leave your hair open or flying in the air.
Thank you so much for taking out so much time, so patiently explaining everything, taking up each and every question here and explaining it in so much detail with a lot of patience. It's been a great session for me also. Learned so much, got to know a few more new things about RBI. And thanks so much. And from the entire students community here and from iExamB.
Yeah, all the very best to all of you. And please work hard to get selected. RBI needs good people. Thank you.